It is Chris Aiken from the Classic Metal Show and the Aftershocks podcast. And before we show you this next video, just wanted to remind you that you can add the CMSPN to your Roku. That's right. If you have a Roku or a Roku TV, just click the link below. It's in the scroll. It's also in the description of this video. And make sure you're logged into your Roku account on your computer, and it will add it right to your Roku. It'll add it, then you just refresh your device, and bang, there it is. That way you can watch all of our episodes, whether it's us or Skull Sessions or Talk to Me or Aftershocks or Classic Metal Show. All be on your TV. It's a deal, right? And it's free. All right, make sure you do that. And now, here's the video you actually came to see.
All right, here we go, and welcome to another episode of Aftershocks TV right here on Heavy Metal Television. And let's welcome our guest today from Emerging Hard Rockers, Immerser. We got Mr. John Logan Parsons III. John, what's happening, man? Thanks for coming on with us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Well, let's talk about Immerser's, your first single. It was released this past spring. It's titled Transmute. Real good hard rocker, man. Real catchy hard rocker, too. It's got a real, I think, solid balance in terms of being a heavy track, yet without sacrificing the melodic nature and vibe with the song. And, just as a listener, man, definitely leaves you wanting to hear more. So that's always obviously a good thing, man. So why don't you just go ahead and start us off by telling us a bit about Immerser and how you came up with the idea for this project?
Well, I've been in bands my whole life. Mostly, I've been the main songwriter for every project I've been in, but, the whole idea of doing something as a solo artist was always in the back of my mind.
Okay.
And I moved from California to Denver about, 4 years ago or so.
Okay.
And so I left the bands kind of behind and figured this was a good opportunity to start like a solo project. And, just started recording stuff. And, Immerser is just the vehicle for my creativity. So that's kind of how it came about.
Okay, awesome, man. Well, yeah, well, Transmute, from what I'm hearing, lyrically, I really like it. It seems to me it's got like a dark to light message, which is something that obviously I think a lot of people could definitely relate to these days, man. So I guess talk a bit about the song and lyrically, what were you kind of going for with Transmute?
Well, the word transmute is typically, used as an alchemical term.
Mm-hmm.
You're transmuting something, right? So you're taking something of like a lesser value and you're making it more valuable. Essentially, that's kind of the idea. But, I tend to kind of utilize that within like emotions or life experience or psychology.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like you said, taking something that might be considered dark and turning it into light. So, if you have a painful experience or maybe a traumatic situation you've gone through, using that as a tool to grow as opposed to something that's destroying you. You know what I mean? So like, so that's kind of the message I wanted to get across. There's a lot of like esoteric kind of stuff in there too.
Okay.
And I just feel like it's kind of an esoteric anthem, but it's definitely like kind of a brooding song, kind of heavy and dark, but it's got like an undercurrent of optimism. So
absolutely. Yeah, no. And that's what I think is real attractive to the listeners. And, so for you, you just mentioned you've been in bands, for your whole life. In terms of, with Immerser, is this something different, lyrically and musically than what you've done before? Or is this sort of in the same vein of the stuff that you've been, writing and recording, for most of your musical career?
For the last 30 years, I mostly have written hard rock, dark stuff. So it's not super different, but it is different in the way that I'm able to kind of explore different genres.
Okay.
As being in like a grunge band or a rock band, you're kind of pigeonholed into one sort of style. But with Immerser, like I've released like 9 singles and 2 EPs, and with all of that stuff, I've kind of jumped around a lot. Some of it's kind of more of a straightforward rock. Some of it might even have some surf kind of.
Oh, cool, nice.
So it's a little bit all over. I have more freedom to kind of explore things. but it's also, I've grown up a lot too, right? Like, I'm not as angry as I used to be. So, and I think I find, it's, I don't know. It's just, to me, it's a bit more melodic.
Okay.
My older stuff, but it's still me, man. Like I'm still same kind of sound. So
sure. No. Well, yeah, you just alluded to the fact that, like you said, this is really a solo project for you. It's you're a one-man machine on this. And in terms of, obviously, when you're recording and writing by yourself to compared to playing and recording with others, I mean, is this something that you see, for instance, is Immerser something you definitely see as more than just a project? Do you see yourself maybe recording another full length? Like you said, you've released a bunch of singles and an album over the years. So is this now your main vehicle that you're going to use, or it's just one of another hub that you have for your whole encompassing scope of music that you write and record?
I would like to think it's something that is kind of the main focus, but you never know, right? I mean, things change, people change, circumstances change, and who knows what'll happen down the road. Maybe I'll find a band that I really dig and join that band, or maybe whatever. But yeah, for the moment, like, this is where all my attention is going, and I'm going to keep moving in this direction as a solo artist. I do have maybe some plans to collaborate with some people, which is cool. So that having a solo kind of deal allows more freedom to do that kind of thing too. Bring other people in, or maybe guest on other people's stuff. And so yeah, man, no, I don't have any big plans to change musically soon. Like, this is kind of my vehicle right now. So
that's your thing. Cool. Very cool, man. Yeah, no, awesome. Well, one of the first things I did notice upon hearing Transmute was that real distinct in your face, musical production. It reminded me first when I heard it, I was like, man, what does this sound like? It reminded me of the band, not really the music itself, but just the production reminded me of the band Hell Yeah. And when I was looking into it, I found out that the song, was indeed recorded at the same studio, the infamous Hideout in Las Vegas, with the father-son combo there of Kane and Kevin Churko. And they've obviously been, home of bands such as, Five Finger Death Punch, In This Moment, Ozzy. I mean, you can go on and on. That's a great, that's a great team that you worked with there. So talk a bit about your experience recording at such a prestigious studio like Hideout and working with Kane on the song.
Yeah, it was a great experience. Kane is an amazing, talented person. He's a good friend, and I wouldn't. Yeah, I mean, he brings so much to the table sonically, and that's really what I wanted. I wanted somebody who is able to take the best parts of what I bring to the table and kind of put them right up in your face. You know what I mean? So it was just everything I could have possibly wanted and more, and and it's really cool, man, because he produced some of my favorite stuff. Like In This Moment is one of my favorite bands right now, and Gemini Syndrome and the Violent Idols and stuff like that. So like, it was really cool being working with somebody who's worked with all these great artists. It's a good company to be in, and it was totally awesome, and can't wait to work with him again. And man, it's sonically, it sounds incredible. So I'm very, very happy with it.
Yeah, I mean, it really does. I mean, so is that your plan now? I mean, you've put out the single. Is the next step for you now to, are you looking to put out more singles? Or are you going to do a full length? And obviously, as you mentioned, you're going to, I'm sure, work with Kane again, which I think is a great, obviously a great idea to do so. Is that sort of what your plan is going forward? Singles or, a full length, either one of those?
Yeah, probably singles for the time being, just that way I can really focus on each song individually, and just kind of, and that way it enables me to kind of not feel like I'm kind of trapped. Like when you're doing an album, it kind of has to have sort of the same sort of thing going throughout the album. But with singles, you can kind of jump all over the place, right? Like this, I could do something way heavier as my next release, or even way less heavy, and it would be okay, because there's not that connection between the two.
Sure.
At some point, I mean, I would love to record an album. I mean, I've recorded like 7 albums over the years, and it's really fun. It's a lot of work though. I mean, that's a part of it too, is it's just so much work, you know.
Sure, yeah.
Expensive too, you know, it's not cheap. So for me right now, singles are kind of where it's at, and this way I can really also gauge, like, you know, when I put something out as a single, like, how is it received? You know what I mean? Is this a direction I should keep going in, or should I kind of alter it a little bit, you know? So it kind of gives me a little bit more to work with too, you know?
Yeah.
So.
No, definitely. Well, you know, and these days too, I mean, that's really sort of how a lot of, you know, artists are doing it, right? I mean, they, you know, gone are the days where, you know, people are sitting down and listen to a whole full length at one point. I mean, people just, it's making more and more sense just to release singles these days.
Right.
And once you gin up, you know, once you, you know, maybe hit with the song you've got and it really takes off with, you know, with the, you know, the rock fans out there, then it's something obviously a lot of people then doing and going, all right, maybe I'll go ahead and, you know, not even sometimes record an LP. A lot of people are just putting out EPs, you know, even, you know, because it's just the way people consume and listen to music is just so different, obviously, than it used to be. Yeah. So, I mean, I think that makes totally sense, you know, total sense. And I mean, so, I mean, as a guy, you know, as yourself, I mean, you really, you know, obviously, like I said, I really think this is a really awesome song. And I think, obviously the production's great. You know, you've got the Cherko name behind you. I mean, what do you look at it as being probably the most challenging thing that you see when you know, for instance, when you look at the Hideout catalog and all those artists they've worked with? I mean, what do you think it's going to take for, you know, a band like Immerser and your project to kind of become, say, the next, you know, Dead or Gemini Syndrome, you know, one of those emerging newer bands? Because I mean, the industry's so changed. It's so, you know, it's so unpredictable these days, and, you know, unlike the way it used to be. So what do you think is, you know, what kind of challenge, what's the biggest obstacle you see of trying to get to that next level at this point?
Well, I mean, I don't spend my time thinking about that. You know what I mean? And I think that's part of having like a healthy mindset. You know what I mean? If you're constantly worrying about, like, oh God, am I going to be like this band or successful or not? Like I said, I've been doing this for 3 decades, you know, and like, it's not, I don't worry about stuff like that. You know what I mean? What I want to do is just release the best music I can, and just, you know, put my all into whatever it is I'm doing. And, you know, but also like working with people, like Kane, you know, that opens other doors, right? Sonically, it's, you know, it sounds really great. So, but I think it's just a matter of time. Like a lot, you know, if something's good, it'll be good and people will listen to it. If, you know, you don't really have control over it. And I think that's kind of the key when you realize you're not in control. You know what I mean? Like, you give up that control and you just put it out there into the world, you know, like, and I mean, you can try your hardest to be relevant online and promote it and do all that stuff. And if it's just not going to happen, it's not going to happen. But, you know, like I said, for me, it's more about, you know, music is more of a, I don't know, it's who I am. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm not going to just not be me. Like, so it wouldn't matter regardless, you know, if nobody listened to it, it would suck, but it would hurt, but it would still be like, okay, that's, you know, this is what I do. Right. And so I don't get wrapped up in that too much. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not too worried about it, man. Like, I'm pretty sure it's going to do okay. Yeah.
I know what you mean, man. That makes a lot of sense. That's a great way, I think, to look at it, especially these days where it is so unpredictable. And you're right. It's better just kind of go out there, do your thing. And then, you know, but if it takes off, it does. And, you know, as long as like you said, you're artistically getting out what you want to get out, I think that's, definitely the most gratifying, I would say, thing, you know, that an artist can accomplish these days. So, I mean, are you looking to, I mean, I guess depending on what, you know, happens going forward with Immerser, is it something where you're looking to maybe get some people to play with you and do some live, you know, shows with any of the songs that you've come up with? Is that anywhere on the docket for you, or are you just going to focus right now on writing and recording?
My focus right now is writing and recording. I wouldn't say that I wouldn't play live ever or have you know, a band. It's just about finding the right musicians and being in the right situation and stuff like that. So, but right now I'm really just kind of focusing on getting, you know, putting some good stuff out, you know?
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I mean, and you have with this song, you know, Transmute, obviously it's really good stuff. And to our viewers, you know, I encourage them to go ahead and check out the single and the video. It's on YouTube for Transmute from Immerser. And John, where should our viewers go to keep up with the happenings of Immerser and find out more info on it?
I mean, you can search Immerser, Immerser in Google, and you'll find all kinds of stuff. You can search John Logan Parsons III in Google. You'll find all kinds of stuff. I'm everywhere: Instagram,
Awesome.
Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff. So,
okay,
yeah.
Fantastic, man. All right, well, John, we appreciate it, and we look forward to hearing some more new stuff from him. I'm really looking forward to it because, like I said, Transmute's a real, I think, solid and real catchy. He's got those hooks, and it's a really solid song, man. So I'm looking forward to hearing some more. So hopefully we'll hear some soon.
Yeah, and thank you so much for all you do, and thank you for supporting artists. And it's really great that you give people an outlet like this. So thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it, John. All right, man. Thanks a lot.